Hello, and welcome to
Bell on Earth.
My name is Cassidy,
My name is Casey.
and together we are the Bell Sisters. Join us each week as we corrupt your soul,
And bring you to salvation.
discussing life, death, and everything in between.
Are you afraid of getting into heaven?
Hello,
Hello.
and welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
We're here.
Are we?
Sort of.
Sometimes I feel like a figment of my own imagination.
Same.
Maybe it's just the dissociation, but...
No, I think that's normal.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm a normie?
That's
Incels would hate that.
We're blue-pilled, for
We
sure.
are. I mean, my whole thing was having blue hair.
That's true.
I was, like, really the, like, stereotypical, like, feminazi, like, looking bitch.
Yeah, and you had, like, the, like, political shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite
A
was the,
Tumblr.
like, the vegan with, like, a marijuana leaf.
That was a good one. I
Which
also
that was
liked-
funny. Come on.
That was funny. But I also like the one with the cow that had middle fingers.
Oh, I still have that one.
Oh,
it's
really?
like stay off or leave my tits alone.
That one's funny too.
Which I like that one because I wear it with no bra.
Perfect.
And I'm like, leave my tits alone.
Yeah.
And then the old men are like, no. Not going to do that.
You're like, haha, old man.
Yeah.
Haha.
Haha, old man. You're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Anyway, we're here
We're
to be
fair.
annoying and talk about other people who are annoying. We've got our cranberry vodkas.
Yeah, we got our
so
vodka crayons.
Prepare your sanity.
Yeah.
This is off to an awful start.
I
I
like
literally like want to kill us already.
But I feel like that's good for this episode. Like, that's what
Yes.
we want.
Yes.
Is for people to murder us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want to become even like worse targets for the incel community.
Yeah.
Like we are already targets enough. And even like by just doing this episode.
We're just desirable by the incels.
See, like the problem is that like we are naturally the enemy of incels because we're like hot and fuckable. And they hate that about us.
Yeah, they really hate that about us.
Incels could never. We are the Stacys. My name rhymes with it.
I mean, I feel like we're the Chads, if anything.
I feel like you're the Chad and I'm the Stacy.
Oh my god. I kind of love that, though. I'd love to be a Chad.
I know.
An alpha, if you will.
Stop. Too much. Reel it back in.
Too soon.
Too soon. Triggered.
Oh my god.
So if it wasn't obvious enough, we're talking about inceldom today.
Hell yeah. I'm so
I'm-
excited. I
I'm
love
so excited.
incels.
I know.
You don't love me.
Yeah, no, they hate us. And, like, the thing with the last episode about, like, feminists is that, I mean, obviously we're, like, gay and, like, feminine, so
Yeah.
we, like, kind of naturally fall in line with feminists. And, like, feminists have, like, more of a platform, obviously, to stand on, but, like, incels just don't.
No.
They just don't. They're just sad and pathetic, and I'm ready to talk shit.
And funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they literally, like, all their, like, ideology and theories make zero sense.
Literally 0 cents.
And it's, like, so funny. It's literally like being a flat earther.
Yeah.
Which, like, a flat earther is hilarious to me.
A flat earther, like, makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, at least they, like, I can, like, look outside and they're like, it's flat.
Yeah, like,
Even though there's literally hills.
yeah.
Like, hills exist. That's not flat.
Yeah. Which I guess, like, incels do kind of have some substance because, like, if I was an incel and I looked in the mirror, I also would be like,
Angry.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck this. I don't want to date this person. So why would anyone else want to?
Right. Yeah.
What was that?
It was just an error.
Oh.
But we're still recording.
Okay, I was like, did it stop?
No, we're good. Yeah, no, I feel like, honestly, the entire, like, thing of being an incel is just, like, I mean, it's just, like, a narcissism that, like, instead of believing that you're, like, great, you're just believing that you're horrible. So you, like, are a horrible person.
Yeah.
Like, you just end up being a horrible person. Because incels are just, like, mean for no reason. They're angry.
It's just, like, a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Because, like, listen. There are uglier and, like, worse people that get puss.
Yeah.
Than, like, the incel community.
Yeah.
Like, prisoners get married.
Yeah, there are, like, entire fandoms for, like, the Columbine shooters.
Yeah.
And you think that women don't desire you because of your, like, jawline?
Yeah.
That's what
Like,
you think is the problem? Because you're 5'7"? You think that is the problem?
Right.
No, just try being around you for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's fucking insufferable.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how you look.
It's not your looks, sweetie. It's your personality.
Exactly. But it, like, really is. And that's what they, like... Should we, like, even define what an incel is? I feel like most people know, but should we just give, like, a brief overview before we, like, really get into it?
Yeah.
Marty! Oh my god. He's like, I have something to say. Marty probably is an incel.
Are you an incel? My little autistic baby. Okay, anyway. So, an incel is an involuntary celibate. And basically, it's like this ideology that says that there are certain people who just have no ability to, like, date, and they, are looked down upon by, like, the Stacys and the Chads of the world and the normies and the alphas and blah, blah. But basically, like, they see themselves as, like, being of lower class, and that's why no one likes them or wants them, and they can't have sex, and, like, women just don't understand them, and they have, like, the truth behind dating, and all of these people that reject them are people who are just, like, not aware enough, and they're all, like, stupid. But then it's like, what I don't understand is, like, if you hate women so much, why do you want to fuck them?
Yeah.
Like, as an incel, because the whole, like, the majority of, like, inceldom is, like, misogynistic, like, severely, like, hating women. And, like, to be honest, like, most men hate women.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, but then why do you want them so bad?
It's, what I, like, kind of gather is that, like, they do hate women, but they also at the same time have this belief that, like, men are owed sex, and that, like, women shouldn't have rights, shouldn't have jobs, basically shouldn't have a voice, and are, like, basically just existing to, like, please men. And so that's why, like, incels are so anti, like, feminist and all that kind of stuff, because they're like, no, women should not have rights. They actually just exist to please me. And the fact that they now have this, like, ego and ability to live their own life is a threat to them.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, like, just stupid. I mean, from, like, any other person hearing this, it's just fucking stupid. And, like, okay, like, even if that's your ideology, you lose me when you call someone a foid.
Can you explain what that is?
No. I honestly can't. A foid is, like, foid is a woman.
Oh. What?
Yeah. The incel terminology is, like, so fucking baffling to me. It's like we were saying this before, but, like, even, like, Republican terminology is, like, less cringy than incel terminology.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime you try to, like, have a logical, I mean, obviously it's not gonna be logical, but even, like, a, like, coherent argument, the, like, moment you use those kind of words, I'm not gonna care about a thing you're saying.
Yeah, for real.
Like, the moment that you have this, like, Chad, Stacy, Foyd, black-pilled terminology, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing you say matters to me.
Because it's dumb.
It is, it's just, like, genuinely stupid.
Yeah, you could have at least come up with more fun terms.
Yeah.
Like, make it more, like...
Like, libtard is fucking funny.
Yeah.
And, like, that's, like, kind of, like, maybe not smart, but, like, there's...
It's funny.
It is
it's
funny.
definitely funny, and I love
catchy.
it. And Snowflake, like...
No, that's a good
girl.
one.
I love that.
I know.
Slur me up.
Yeah. And, like, even
You're
from,
gonna
like,
call me
the
a
liberal side, like maggots, like, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
No,
that's some
that's
funny
hilarious.
shit. But, like, Foyd? Oh my god. Get a life.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, is that most incels literally don't have lives. They literally just sit on the computer and, like, do nothing. And, like, listen, that's your choice. If you want to do nothing and sit on the computer, then that's fine. But, like,
Bro.
own up to your choices.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, the other issue I think that incels have is, like, just be, like, proud of, like, being an incel, then. If that's
Yeah.
what you want, you're choosing to live this life.
Well, that's the thing.
And
is
I know that
like,
they don't think that they are, but they literally are.
No, but, like, some of them do, because I've seen forums where, like, they will be mad at other people who, like, have sex, who end up actually having sex with a woman, because they're like, you're turning your back on the community, basically. Even though the entire, like, goal for them is to, like, get with women, right?
Well, it's involuntary celibate. So it's
Exactly.
not voluntary. But you're
So you're
voluntarily
trying-
doing this.
Yeah. Because, like, let's be real. Let's, like, okay, yeah, maybe you can't get with, like, a 10 out of 10.
Right.
But, like, I'm sorry, if you want to have sex with a woman, like, it does not matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how tall you are. It doesn't matter your weight. Like, you can find a woman to have sex with, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Everyone can find someone. Maybe it's not your first choice.
Right.
Maybe not your second or third either. But if you want to have sex with someone, like, someone out there is going to be willing to have sex with you, I promise.
Right. It's not that hard.
Like, I've seen some truly ugly people
Yeah. And, like,
who are having sex with other people.
let's be, like, fucking for real here. Like, there are ugly people. Like, there's ugly people who are just ugly on the outside, and ugly people who are ugly on the inside, and there's ugly people who are ugly on both.
Ugly is such a, like, dynamic word.
And it's, like, subjective, obviously.
Absolutely.
I truly, like, it's subjective, but, like, it's okay to be ugly. Like, it's not that serious, but, like,
At least on the outside.
right, like, on the inside,
That's
like,
your choice.
yeah. But on the outside, like, who cares? Like, just be hot and ugly. Like, you can be hot and ugly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Because you can have, like, a good personality. That's the thing, is that, like...
That's what people don't get, is that, like,
Yeah.
you can be hot and ugly, and it's not that serious.
Because, like, there's so many... Like, that whole thing of, like, the nice guy finished last. And, yeah, there are, like, women out there who are just super shallow and,
Right.
like, will only go for people who are conventionally attractive. But it's, like...
Or rich, or whatever.
Or rich, right.
But there's, like, men who are like that, too. So
Exactly.
who cares? Like, not everyone's supposed to be for you.
And you, like, you wouldn't want to be with someone who has that mentality anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, just stop thinking about them and, like, go for people who are actually cool and genuine. There are plenty of people out there like that. And if you're not finding them, then you're just surrounding yourself with the wrong people. Like, I'm sorry,
Right.
but that's the truth.
That's, like, your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, to be honest, like, I feel like most people who are attracted to, like, that kind of woman who is ultimately shallow and only cares about one thing or whatever, or same, like, vice versa, if you're only attracted to men, or even, like, non-binary people, whatever, because there's...
Let's be inclusive here.
But that's what I, like, okay, I'm gonna say this point and then I'll get to the next one, but, like, if you're attracted to those people, that's on you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to then, like, figure out what's, like, up in your brain. Like, you're choosing to be rejected.
Yeah.
At that point. Like, just find someone who is, like, attracted to you. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But the other point that I was gonna make was that, like, all people, this is what sometimes bothers me about, like, misogyny or, like, even, like, misandrony or whatever, like, however you pronounce any of that. But
we don't believe in it, so.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, that's what, like, my issue is that all people are bad and all people are good. And, like, most people are neutral. Like, most people do a handful of bad things in their lifetime. Or not bad, but, like, just do a handful of, like, shitty things. And do a handful of, like, good things. And, like, you're kind of both. Like, most people are both. And then there's some people who are, like, overtly good and some people who are overtly bad. Right? But, like, it doesn't matter, like, your gender or your race or, like, your creed or your class. Like, there's just people like that of all types, right? Like, and all, like, different mixes. Like, there are poor, like, Asian gay men, right, who are bad people. And then there are rich Hispanic women who are good people. And, like,
the only
versa.
two types of people.
But do you know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I know exactly what you mean.
You could be whatever and be, like, a whatever person.
That's why I hate when people are like...
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I genuinely, like, don't understand hate groups. Because I'm like, bitch, like, I've met Asian people who are, like, annoying and stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not because they're Asian.
It's just because
they're annoying and stupid. And they
yeah.
just happen to be Asian as well.
But there's, like, so many white people who are annoying and stupid. And so many...
And, we're gay. And, like, there are a lot of gay people we don't like.
I hate most gay people.
Exactly.
They're all fucking stupid and annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
But it's, like, not just because they're gay. It's because they were born stupid and annoying.
Yeah.
Or they were made like that sometimes, but mostly they were born like that.
And, like, listen, do I think that being gay makes me more annoying and more stupid? I think it amplifies it sometimes.
Yeah, like, it puts a speaker to it, but is it, like, the sole thing making me annoying and stupid?
No.
Most likely not. It's because I'm a woman.
The incels would love this.
I know. I'm hoping to gain some incel followers.
Okay, this is the thing.
I'd love
is
to
that,
be
like,
red-pilled.
Yeah. No, like, I don't know. I feel like there are some, like, incels out there who we should talk to.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are people who are incels. Okay, sorry. I put way too much vodka in this vodka cranberry. I don't know where this is heading.
We're just going off.
We're going off the rails right now. But, like, I feel like there are incels that I could, like, understand.
Okay, that's how I feel about, like, most groups.
Yeah.
Where, like, sometimes I'm like, wow, like, you're right. Like, I know that your thoughts are wrong, but, like,
and your generalizations are wrong.
Yeah.
But, like, there's certain experiences where I'm like, okay, bestie, like, is he vomiting? No.
No, he's just looking at his ass.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But, like, there are certain things where I'm like, you know what? You're right. She is being a Stacy right now.
Yeah. No, and,
but, like, am I gonna kill them over that? No.
Well, that's where you go too far, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you're violent towards other people because of, like, whatever belief you have, like, maybe, like, don't pop off.
When you're, like, writing manifestos.
Yeah, that's, like, just kind of, like, going crazy, and, like, that's when it's, like, it's gone too far.
But, like, I think about that sometimes, because I'm like, how do you get to the point where you're, like, writing a manifesto about, like, a certain group of people, and you don't, like, stop to be like, what am I doing? Like, what is my life right now? Like, this is so cringy.
Well, also, like, don't you get bored? Like, okay, because I've tried to write a screenplay before.
This is the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, I've tried, and
I've tried to, like, journal every night, and it's just, like, really hard.
But a manifesto is so much more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much more effort.
That's the thing, is that, like, you have to, like, do research, right? And, like, once you're researching, like, do you not come across other material?
Yeah. Or don't you get, like, tired? Like, don't you want to go to bed?
Don't you get, like, hungry? Don't you, like, ever, like, stop and you're like, Maybe I just need a Snickers. Like,
Yeah, well, sometimes you, like, have a snack, you're like, oh, what I'm doing is, like, really stupid and dumb, and maybe I should stop doing it and move on to something else.
No, like, sometimes, like, I'm really just, like, in my car, and I'm, like, driving, and I'm like, I want to fucking run everyone over. And then I, like, have a little, like, sip of, like, mango juice, and I'm like, wait, life isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like, have incels ever had a mango before?
Just, like, get a little treat, and then you'll be fine.
Get a puff pastry.
Yeah,
you'll be
like,
fine.
a nice little puff pastry, and, like, maybe a coffee or a tea if you like tea.
Yeah.
Just, like,
I can't imagine that, like, you, like, there's this entire group of people that you hate and you've never had a good experience with at least one. Like, people that, like, hate, like, Chinese people. Like, have you ever eaten a wonton? That's enough to change your minds.
You know what, though? I have seen, like, a number of people who were incels and, like, literally had sex, and they were like, oh, I was wrong. And they just changed their mind.
See, I do think that, like, alright, we're getting controversial.
That's fine.
Maybe I do kind of get incels. Because, like, if I could never get pussy,
yeah,
I would also go insane.
Yeah.
Like
if
I know
was
that,
that
like,
insufferable.
Yeah. Like, again, it really doesn't matter how you look. It's really just your personality. So, like, even ugly people eventually will get pussy.
Yeah.
But, like, incels are just so fucking insufferable. And I'm sorry, but, like, if you're gonna treat someone so poorly, like, why would you even think they'd ever want to have sex with you?
Right.
So, like, obviously you're never gonna fucking get pussy. But, like, I do kind of get, like, if you're so insufferable that you never get pussy, like, but you desire it so bad and, like, it just, like, consumes your entire being, especially when you're growing up. Like, I mean, everyone kind of goes through that phase of, like, high hormones and shit like that, but especially, like, young boys.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, a really huge thing for them.
Well, too, like, I do understand the point of, like, in our society, like, it's different. Like, we've never been men, right? Like, it is.
I have been Theodore Roosevelt before.
That's true. So you understand.
Yeah.
But I mean,
besides
Teddy
that
Roosevelt
experience,
was plowing through pussy, so I feel like
True.
it's different.
Teddy Pussevelt.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so yeah,
the
can't
only
relate.
thing
I guess.
can imagine is him just plowing everything in sight.
Oh, I bet.
So, and people like lining up.
I would line up.
Yeah. I mean, he's, like, saving the little, like, squirrelies. Like, kill.
Yeah. Like, the teddy bear is named after him.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get, like, better
You can't
than
get
that.
more fuckable than that.
Exactly.
You can't get more Chad.
Like, I'm sorry, but the teddy bear is, like, one of the things that you give to your partner on Valentine's Day. It's, like, a sign of romance.
Wow. It's really all connected.
It really is connecting.
Conspiracy.
Oh my god. Okay, anyway. So, never mind. I have no say in this.
What?
Well, because my whole point was that, like, I was Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, yeah.
So I understood, but I don't
You
understand.
literally don't understand.
Oh my god.
Fake. But what I was saying is that, like, there is, like, this notion of, like, you as a man have to be, like, fucking in order to be, like, a real man.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, that is something that, like, men have to go through. And also, too, like, I remember someone saying to me that, like, part of why men are so angry now is that, like, they are taught their entire lives that they have to be providers. And I do think there's a lot of women out there that, like, really do push for men to be their provider. But at the same time, they're also working and providing for themselves. So it's, like, this very weird role of, like, well, this person is, like, saying that they want me to provide for them, but they're also independent and don't need me. So then, like, what is this? What am I providing? Like,
It's
what
like
am I
the
doing?
desperation isn't there.
Yeah, and it's not, like, fair. It's not fair to, like, say, like, I want this person to provide for me, but I'm also providing for myself.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, you have to kind of change the narrative of, like, okay, like, we can both provide for each other, but both be, like whatever kind of suits you, I guess. But it's okay to, like, kind of give up on that provider role, but then I also feel like a lot of men don't know their purpose then because they've been taught this very singular way of like what they need to be their entire lives, and like women still expect it from them, but at the same time don't want it.
Yeah.
And so I do understand to some extent like why people who like really focus on this and that's like their whole brain is focusing on this all the time, like why they'd be mad. Yeah. Right? Like most people I think have gotten over it to some extent and they like can move past it at some point in their life, but then there's some people who are really stuck on this concept and like that's why they're so angry, and like again I get that, but also at the same time like that's like on you to get over. Like it's your responsibility to like move through that, just the same way it's like your responsibility as a white person to like move through your racism. You know, like I would say that all white people have some form of racism inside them or have been like taught and like integrated with like racist ideology, like even if they don't come from like a racist community or come from like a racist family,
because it's so deep rooted in our culture.
Yeah, but like exactly, like you have some little, even like the littlest tiny bit like of like that thought process coming through your head.
Misogyny too, like even women have misogynistic.
Plenty of women are misogynistic.
Yeah, both like openly and subconsciously. And there are even like plenty of times where like I catch myself and I'm like, chill out.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that like you as a person are like, it's kind of your responsibility to move through that shit. Like there's definitely times where like thoughts come into my head, like, and that's the first thought that I have, and then I'm like, oh, that's a stupid thought to have, and I move past it and I don't hold on to it. I just like, I'm like, that was dumb, let's move on and let's like reconstruct what I just thought and think of it in a different way. You know,
exactly. And I don't know,
it's the same thing as, like, yes, you could have had, like, a really shitty childhood, and it's not your fault that you had a shitty childhood. It's not your fault that, like, your parents were mean to you or that they abandoned you or whatever, but it's your responsibility to, like, move through it. And, like, while that sucks, it's also, like, a part of life, and you have to just kind of, like, get over that.
Right.
Like, there's certain things where I'd say, like, okay, that's fair to hold on to that and not get over it and, like, maybe, like, fight it or whatever. Like, there's certain things where I'm like, yeah, totally understand your anger here and like that's fair, but then there's like most things where it's like, you know, you kind of have to just like get over it and like live your life.
Yes. And I don't know, it's hard because like I do get some people who have just been like severely traumatized, and I do think that like that does play a big role.
I mean, it messes with your brain.
It messes literally, like from a chemical level, like it really does.
Yeah.
But then there are other people who have like inflicted this upon themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, that's where my empathy ends.
Dries up.
'Cause like when you actually have gone through some shit, does it make your actions right? No. But at the same time, like, it makes, at least there's a reason for it.
There's, like, context.
Yeah. But then there are other people where I'm like, like, I know, like, with the internet, it becomes, like, such an echo chamber that, like, a lot of people are radicalized, even if they didn't necessarily go through anything. It's like they have this one experience, they, like, find this website, and then, like, they find community through people who maybe are traumatized or have been also, like, turn to extremists. And so like I get like that there's that, but like at the same time with the internet, it's like you can be exposed to so many other things that I can't defend it anymore.
No. Yeah, you're exposed to like a lot of people's experiences and traumas and like the things that like other people go through, and it's like, don't you ever sit there and feel embarrassed? Like, I know I feel embarrassed. Like, there's certain things I've definitely gone through where I'm like, wow, that really was super shitty.
Yeah.
And then there's certain things that I complain about, and I'm like, you know, it's fun to complain about in the moment because you're like letting out that anger and you're frustrated, but then afterwards you're like, well, that was embarrassing. Like, why am I complaining about this?
Right.
Like, I definitely like could have had it like so much worse.
Right.
Like, chill out, me.
And I think it's also easier to hold a hatred towards, like, smaller communities because you have less experience with them. But it's like, listen, besides, like, yes, like, non-binary and, like, the extras, but, like, for the most part, there's, like, men and women.
Right.
You're going to experience
You said the
so many the extras. I don't know. I'm sorry. Did I offend anyone? Is someone
Like
triggered?
Send them to us.
Send them. Post
Oh
the
my
hate
god,
comments.
I would love for like someone to send us their tears. That'd be so good. I feel like our audience should just be incels and like furries.
Yeah.
I think that would be great if we reach those communities. I think they would like us.
I know, it's like, on one hand, well, I don't know. I like, furries are, I guess, different because, number one, we haven't gotten there yet with our podcast.
Yeah.
But also, like, furries are kind of different. Like, they're not like a hate group.
No, I don't mean to like compare them and say they're the same thing. I just
No,
feel
I
like
just
those
mean, like,
two groups
yeah.
are ones that I relate to, and I want them to like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I hate incels so much. Just because I'm just jealous.
Training for their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incels. We're here.
We're here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We get you.
No, we don't.
But we can try.
We can try. We are trying. And, like, I don't know. I
feel like I'm pretty, like, open-minded to, like, so many things where I'm, like, because I've heard arguments from incels where I'm, like, I kind of get that. Like, I understand where you're coming from.
I feel like that's our problem, is that we're, like, so understanding.
Yeah.
And we're, like, so open-minded.
Well, it's like what I was saying last episode, like, I feel like I've just met so many people where I'm like, I don't know, like, I can get it. Like, I'm not angry at you for, like, being the way that you are because, like, I get it. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, do I appreciate it or, like, agree with it? Yeah, like, no, I don't. But do I get it? Yeah. And I feel like that just makes us better people.
Yeah. Literally what I was going to respond with is, do I think I'm smarter and better?
Yeah.
Yes. And am I right about that? Yes. But at the same time, will I still be an empathetic ear for you? Well, partially.
Yeah. Like, will I be an ear for you? Probably not. But will I, like, look at your argument and, like, understand what, like, the community is saying? Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. I've read some incel, like, articles and, like, posts and stuff like that. And to some extent, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you people, like, clearly just don't really have any support in your life.
Yeah.
Or, like, anyone to, like, I don't know, like, show you any differently.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how else do you get to that point of, like, so much built up hatred? Besides just being surrounded by hatred.
Hmm. True.
I don't know, I feel like there has to be a certain environment that these people are in. Like, whether it's, like, self-inflicted or not, I guess.
Yeah. No, and obviously, like, experiencing certain things in childhood really does, like, damage your brain.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's certain things where I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that, like, all incels are, like, serial killers or whatever, but I remember reading about, like, Ed Kemper's life, for example, and, like, if you don't know who Ed Kemper is, he's, like, I forget what his name was, but he basically, like, killed a bunch of, like, college students and then murdered his mom and, like, fucked her neck hole.
Hot.
Yeah. But, like, to some extent, like, I understood where he was coming from in terms of, like, he was just, like, so heavily ridiculed his entire life, and, like, as a child, that, like, can damage your brain. Plus, like, he also grew up, I'm pretty sure, in, like, the 60s or 70s where he probably was like lead poisoned or whatever. So there's that.
Yeah. The lead.
Yeah, the lead. And honestly, I feel like brain injuries are something that people don't talk about enough, but I feel like most people have some type of like brain injury, and that's where they like can't get over some of these thoughts.
Yeah.
And so it's like I can empathize with that, because it's like, well, it's not really under your control that your like brain doesn't function properly.
Yeah.
But
no, it's kind of crazy how little we allow like psychology to come into play.
Yeah. Like, people have like there's this one podcast called The Dream, right? And it's really good. I highly recommend it. There's 3 seasons as of right now. But the host of The Dream has like a not severe, but like she had a bad brain injury as a child, and she talks about it in the 2nd season. And she fell on her head. I think she was in a coma for a little while, and she was like only like 5. But she talks about how like that like reshaped her like worldview.
Yeah.
Like, because she has this very like black and white understanding of the world, because she was like, well, I like almost died, and so it's like, well, there's life and there's death, and that's basically it. And like she doesn't believe in like anything else. And she doesn't care about anything else, because she's like, well, you can either live or die, and that's it.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, like, her traumatic brain injury, like, she's even talked about, like, it affects her. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we don't, like, think about that. And, like, there's physical brain injuries, and I think there's emotional brain injuries, and then there's also, like, the things that we consume obviously also have, like, an effect on us. Like, you know, breathing in like gas can't like necessarily be like helping our brains work and function.
No, like polluted places are like known obviously to have an effect on you.
Yeah.
Or even stuff like I've read this article.
Not to say that like all incels are lead poisoned, but like probably.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
There could correlation is not causation, however. But like I did read this article. Do I remember about all of it? No, so I'm not gonna go too into depth. But there was this article about there was this article about like the link between like cats and mental illness. And like they did bring up this point of it was some like bacteria, I think, in like cat shit or urine or something like that, that is linked to mental illness.
Right, I've heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is it like the only reason? Obviously not. And like, do I think that I'm mentally ill because cats? No. I think I have cats because I'm mentally ill, and they just don't make it any better.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it just brings up the point of like how our environment truly affects us, and like how little is acknowledged, because I think it does get studied, but it's not like acknowledged.
Yeah, it's not like widely like accepted.
Yeah, and I do get that it's hard to like study every single thing that you do, and like how every little fucking thing that you breathe in and consume and touch and watch and blah blah blah, like it's a lot to like try to just explain someone's behavior based on like all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I do think that we should recognize it.
True. But it's also like, I think everything affects every person differently, and that's like so hard to like actually study, because like those effects again are different on every person.
It's so
depending
individual.
On so many factors that like they either may or may not have control over. So it's just like, I don't know, it's a really hard thing to like actually get into, but I do think that it's something that we should think about a little bit more often, and think about how like our environment does affect us, like both physically and mentally and like emotionally and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, I think our awareness of that is like why we're so open-minded and like understanding, is because like I grasp the fact that like everyone comes from a different background and is exposed to different things, and like someone being an incel is like not, it's not like just them being an incel, it's always like a combination of, like, everything else they've gone through.
Right. Like, there's a specific path that led you to this moment.
Yes.
And to be honest, like, not most, but there are quite a few incels that are, like, younger, and they've just kind of, like, found this community online.
Yes.
And they've just fallen into it. And of course there are, like, older ones as well, but they've also gone through, like, a specific path that, like, led them to, like, this, like, certain community.
Yes.
And if that's, like, where they can find community, like, it's sort of unfortunate, but it's also, like, where they found community. And that's why, like we were saying before, people can get mad at you for, like, leaving and turning your back on, like, what is supposed to be your, like, almost, like, surrogate family.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what's sad is that, like, I don't think that, like, incels are evil per se.
Yeah.
I think there are obviously evil people who are incels, and I think, like, that path doesn't always lead to good.
Yeah.
But, like, I also don't think that there are, like, people who are incels who, like, truly recognize that it's just because they're an insufferable person. They, like, really do think that there's, like, something wrong with the world. And that's hard to turn off once you get to that point, because, like, that's all you see. That's all you consume.
Yeah.
And obviously it's going to just, like, surround you.
Right.
Once you get there.
And it's the same thing as, like, it's very similar to, like, being in an MLM. If you don't know, like, I'm an avid listener of, like, anti-MLM content. It's my favorite. It's so funny. And also, like, there's a lot of stuff, but it's really fun. But ultimately, like, when you're in a community like that, like, is constantly surrounding you and really, like, so into what they're saying, like, MLMs are literally just, like, the same exact thing as, like, a incel community, because they're feeding you all this information that they don't know if they believe, but they, like, just keep repeating it, and eventually it just becomes who they are. And some of them know it's a scam and some of them don't, but it's, like, very much the same thing as, like, being in that type of community where you're literally just hearing it all the time and you're so part of it. And if you leave everything that you know behind. And that's really scary for, like, most people. It's really scary to, like, leave your community behind and, like, not have anything or anyone when you leave. And, like, of course, that's, like, a little overly dramatic, because whether you're in MLM or in a incel community, like, there's certain communities, like, who are, like, very, like, you know, like, insular cult communities where that's, like, even more dramatic. But when you're, like, in an online community, like, yes, those are your friends, but, like, you still have people on the outside, like, let's be fucking for real.
Right.
But it still can be really scary to leave what you know. And so it's, like, I don't know, like, I feel for that, but also at the same time, it's, like, you know, like, don't you see, like, what you're, like, getting yourself into?
But, like, I don't think they do. And I think that's the problem is that, like, okay, it just reminds me of, there's this TikTok that I saw. It was this guy telling his story about, first of all, I don't know where the fuck he found this therapist. Basically, he had this therapist who, I don't even really remember the beginning of it. It's not as important. Anyway, this therapist basically, like, gave him this contact to this, like, witch that she knew. Oh. Which is already a red flag, but, like, when you're gay and vulnerable, things happen.
Right.
So he got this, like, contact for this witch, and basically there were, like, random things that started happening that, like, she would say that, like, ended up being true. And so obviously even if he was skeptical at first, like, the more things that came true, the more he was like, oh my god, like, she's actually, like this is real. Mm-hmm. And so then there was this, like, part of it was there was this guy who, I don't know, was, like, a big part of his life and probably, like, a past partner that, like, things ended badly and whatever. Mm-hmm. And she had, like, correctly guessed his name and, like, stuff like that in the beginning. So, like, that was part of it. And then at some point, so he had lost his keys, right? And when he, like, mentioned this to her, she basically was like, it's that guy. He's, like, out to get you. He's gonna come to your house and, like, try to break in. And so for like, the next couple days, he was just, like, so paranoid. Like, he was looking for his shoulder, like, every single time he went anywhere. He was, like, not getting any sleep because, like, he was, like, waiting for someone to break into his house and, like, blah, blah, blah. And then one day, he, like, went into his closet and took out the coat that he had been wearing a couple days ago that he hadn't worn in a few days. And the keys were in his fucking pocket.
Oh, my God.
And, like, it just goes to show, like, how susceptible people can be to emotional and mental manipulation when, like, certain things end up being validated for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, when your brain starts to make those connections, it's very hard to be like, well, I can't disprove what they're saying.
Exactly.
And, like, oh, my God.
So it's, again, like that self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. But I was going to say that I hate people who are like, I can't get conned. No, the fuck you
Oh,
can.
bitch, everyone can get conned.
It's so easy because, like, people, like, there are certain people that know how to manipulate others.
Yeah.
And, like, I would say that's the same thing for any community, but particularly ones that are so, like, insular, like the incel community or, like, an MLM or, like, I don't know, there's just certain communities that are very much like that are very insular. A lot of religions are like that. And, like, it's so easy to manipulate people in those vulnerable places.
Yes.
And so it's, like, anyone could get conned. It's really not that hard.
And that's why I think, like, the incel community ends up having such, like, power over each other.
Yeah.
It's because, like, once you're in it and once, like, other people and other experiences, like, validate the experiences you've had, it's hard to unsee it. And, like, that's the worldview that you end up having, and it's hard to, like, change the reality that you live in.
Right. You know what? I would also say that for, like, I've definitely had that perspective from, like, the feminist point of view, to be honest. Like, because, like, sometimes I'll see a TikTok, and it'll be, like, some lady talking about how horrible, like, this man is, whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, like, I've had, like, men say that to me, and it's like, yeah, that is super fucked up. Like, fuck men, and, like, men, blah, blah, like, are all fucked up and horrible.
Yeah.
But then I, like, actually sit there and think about it, and I'm like, but there have been women who have said shit like that to me, too. And, like, there are, like, good men out there, and it's, like, not necessarily, like, I do think that there's certain things that society teaches men that do make them a certain way.
100%.
But do I think that, like, men are necessarily, like, born like that? No, I think that sometimes there's certain things that they're taught and that they just don't understand because, like, they're taught this way, and then women experience something different and they just don't get that.
Yeah.
But do I think that, like, all men are evil and horrible people? Like, no. I think that, like, some men are and some women are and some non-binary people are, and the extras, you know, are
the
also
extras,
whatever. But, like, there are times where you see, like, something that validates an experience that you have had, and you're like, oh, fuck these people. Like, fuck them. Like, I have had that experience. I have been feeling, like, whatever. And there's certain things where it's like, I have had multiple experiences where I've been threatened by men, and, like, that makes me uncomfortable. And there are certain things that I do where I'm like, I'm going to keep myself safe over, like, caring about your feelings. And I would say that that's probably true also for, like, people who are incels, right? Like, they've had experiences with women and they're going to keep themselves safe over caring about other people's feelings. But it's when you, like, put people in danger and, like, literally want to kill people because of your experiences that it becomes, like, a huge problem. And that's, like, where incels obviously come, like, where, like, the whole thing comes crashing down because, like, they literally go out and murder people over, like, their beliefs. And it's like, girl, come on. Seriously, like, your beliefs are that serious that you're gonna go out and kill people who have nothing to do with you? Like, be fucking for real.
No, that shit is, like, so stupid to me. Like, again,
like, I'm not gonna go out and murder men just because, like, I've had a bad experience with them.
Exactly.
Like, because that's not fair. Like, what they do to me, like, obviously, if it's someone who, like, fucked me over, then, like, you know, whatever.
If it's, like, a personal experience, like,
right.
It's, like, directed at a particular person.
But, like, why would I go out and kill random people just because I've had bad experiences with men? That doesn't make any sense.
That's so lame.
Yeah, it's literally dumb.
It is It's dumb.
Yeah, it's literally fucking stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And, like, what does it
Smooth-brained.
do? It is. It's blue-pilled.
It is blue-pilled.
Like, you're just blue-pilling yourself.
You are.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like we should leave off with the fact that incel is a term that was created by a woman whose name is Alana.
Yeah.
Not Alana Morissette, though.
No. She wishes.
Yeah. She's probably an incel, though.
We love her, though.
We do love her. I love Alana. God. Praise be.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so incels, they...
Hit us up.
Yeah.
They.
We won't fuck you, but...
Yeah, we'll prove your point.
We'll mildly validate certain opinions that you have, and then we'll make fun of you for others.
Yeah, we'll definitely...
Isn't that what you want, though? I feel like incels do,
they want
have that, humiliation kink.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, why else would you be so open about it on the internet?
True.
Why would you identify as an incel unless you, want to be humiliated for it?
They like it. They get off on it.
They do.
For sure.
So, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Here's content for you to masturbate to.
Thank God. Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Slay.
Slay.
And with that, bye.
Thank you for listening to Bell on Earth, the podcast. We hope that your minds have been expanded and your pussies have been opened.
Be sure to rate and follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
This podcast is brought to you by Free Studio Productions. It's hosted and produced by Cassidy and Casey Bell. Big thanks to our executive producer, Derek Benton.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for all of your content needs. See you later, haters.